The smell of disappointing my father. What's up, cuties? Today I am filming my very first sit-down video of all of 2024, and this is going to be my January TBR, where I'm going to give you the details on what I'm going to be reading all throughout the month for Summerween, Camp Organ, Enby Book Club. I am pumped. Cannot freaking wait. I've got some really fun things planned for this channel in January. But instead of talking about it, instead of telling you what content y'all are gonna be getting, y'all just gotta wait and see. Y'all gotta stick around, unlike my father. So let's get right into the nitty and the gritty. I have 1 hour before I start Summerween reading sprints with Gabby and Gavin. This is going to be the first time that Gabby and Gavin and myself will be reuniting since our trip to Japan. And I'm just really excited to see them again. I miss them so fucking much. Winterween could not have come at a more perfect time. I am so sad that I did not get my merch in time for the readathon to start. But yesterday, my Camp Organ merch came. As y'all know, my Camp Organ merch has been up for a while, but I didn't have a long sleeve. So I want to show off my long sleeve right here. Your cabin or mine. Oh, it's just the best. Like, look. All right, let's get started by talking about what I'm going to be reading for Summerween. I'm going to be participating in the Instagram challenge. I cannot wait for that. One of the prompts for Winterween is to read a book that has a witch on the cover or in the title, or a book about witches, and I'm going to be picking Blood Like Fate by Lascelles Sambury. I read and loved Blood Like Magic 2 years ago now. It was absolutely incredible, and this book has just been staring at me, judging me from the bookshelves in my bedroom. Her time is nigh. This, of course, is the follow-up to Blood Like Magic. Didn't I already say that? Not me being a record player.
This is why I'm single.
I don't want to spoil anything about the synopsis because book one was so freaking good, but it is the perfect SFF series. It is essentially a duology where you are following a witch who is trying to come into her magic, and she has to pass these trials, and the trial that she is assigned is to kill her first love. Blood magic plays a massive role in this series, and it is something that is very near and dear to my heart as well, which is a part of the reason why this series attracted me in the first place. However, I love the natural fusing of technology with this very contemporary fantasy story. It feels so real. If you're one of those people that shies away from technology and science fiction books, I highly recommend that you give this a try. It is very gentle and not too far-fetched. The love interest is amazing. I love how big of a role the family plays in the story, as that is often my critique with commercial fantasies involving kids, is that the family is absent. And part of the reason that I love Black fantasies in particular is that the family almost always plays a big role in the book from start to finish, and I really appreciate that. The author is Trinidadian, and that culture is rife throughout the book. The writing is beautiful. I just can't wait to see what antics that our protagonist Voya and her family get into, and especially with the way that book one ended, the betrayal, the culmination of all of the events of that book. Like, I cannot wait to see what's gonna happen. So I'm definitely going to be vlogging this, Black Girl Magic vlogging this. And if you're unfamiliar with Black Girl Magic, it is a series that I have had on my channel since I've started it, where I critically read, analyze, review, and rate the way that Black girls are depicted in science fiction and fantasy books. And I will leave a playlist of that down below. I'm so excited. Now, I'm also going to be reading Forged by Blood, because this is book one of the Tainted Blood duology. So of course, 2 blood magic books, Black characters, like I absolutely had to. And the synopsis for this is wild. Tell me this cover could not stab you in the face and that you wouldn't say thank you, ma'am. In the midst of an authoritarian regime and political invasion, Dami just wants to survive, girl same, to avoid the suspicion of the non-magical Ajes who occupy her ancestral homeland of Ife, to escape King Sorensen's brutal genocide of her people, the darker-skinned, magic-wielding Oluso, and to live peacefully with her secretive mother while learning to control the terrifying blood magic that is her birthright. And if you think that sounds good, you should hear the rest of the synopsis. When Dami's misplaced trust costs her mother's life. Survival gives way to vengeance. I love the trope of the parent dies at the beginning of the book. I don't know why I love it so much. Maybe it's because I watched too many Disney movies as a kid, but some of my favorite books feature this trope. She buys her time until the devious Lord Quincy grants her the perfect opportunity, kidnap the Aje prince, or maybe it's Aje, I'm not sure, it's A-J-E, Jonas, and bargain with his life to save the remaining Aluso. With the help of her reckless childhood friend, the kidnapping becomes a joint mission: return to the king, help get Lord Quincy on the council, bolster the voices of the Aluso in a system designed to silence them. But the way is dangerous. Dami's magic is growing yet uncertain, and she's not sure that she can trust the two men at her side. This is a tale of rebellion, redemption, race, class, love, trust, betrayal. An epic fantasy at its finest from an enthusiastic, emerging new voice. I'm sorry, what? You're gonna see a Black Girl Magic vlog involving those two books for sure. And because I wanted something that specifically said the word witch in the title, even though the books that I've already described are witchy books, I am going to be reading The October Witches by Jennifer Clayson. I don't know why I love that last name, Clayson. It's so crisp. It's like opening a bag of chips. This is a charming middle grade book, and I did not read any middle grade last year, I feel, and I just cannot wait. So regardless of the fact that it's not October and December live in my heart all year round, okay? So I'm really, really geeked about this. We're following a family of witches known as the Merlins, and our protagonist is a 13-year-old girl named Clementine. Because of an ancient falling out with the other branch of the family, the Morgans, they only have their powers for a single month of the year, October. That's some shit that would happen to me. This October is special because it could be the October that Clemmy is gifted with magic. It should be exciting, except that magic is the reason Mirabelle never talks to Clementine anymore. The reason that their aunts act exceptionally stranger than normal. And then it just becomes more than that, but I'm expecting a cozy family story, and I just couldn't be more excited about it. Next up, we have a book with a snowy winter setting, and I'm going to be reading Burnham Wood. What's funny about this is that I was sent this book, I think, spring, summer of last year, 2023, and I proceeded to be haunted by this book every single month. I would see it around the house in my shelves, and it would just be judging me, whispering for me to read it, and for whatever reason I just never got to it, but it was always in the back of my head. And then of course I'm seeing it all over Bookstagrammer's favorite books of the year. Of fucking course. So I should have trusted my instincts, and that's why I'm like, nope, we are starting January off with this, and I'm very, very excited about it. So this is actually the author who wrote The Luminaries, which is such a beloved book, and I didn't realize that until this morning. And the synopsis sounds absolutely incredible. If you have been following me for a while, you'll know that environmental justice is a cause that's very near and dear to my heart. I love books about the environment, especially if they're fiction, especially if they are dystopian. In this book, we're following, I believe, an all-female guerrilla gardening group who is dedicated to plant justice. Big, like, farm. Land is perfect for them to use for their guerrilla gardening justice group. But then this billionaire sets his sights on that land, and as they're kind of fighting over it, he hires the group in order to work the land, but they're not sure if they can trust this billionaire, and of course the answer is a fucking course you can't. Wait a second, this isn't a winter book. Oh, it's not set during winter. Oh my gosh, I am that's fine. What's funny about this is that I was also going to be reading this for my Camp Oregon readathon, so we're just gonna make this Camp Oregon, and automatically I have the perfect book in mind, but I'm just gonna finish the synopsis anyway. So he's an enigmatic American billionaire who has snatched up the land to build his end of times bunker. The perfect Camp Oregon read. And if you're unfamiliar with Camp Oregon, it is a readathon where we read books that are set at camp, so like summer camp for example, or set in the woods or at a cabin. And any survival story where people have to make camp or are fighting to survive, let's say on an island, counts for Camp Oregon too. That's why I was gonna read this for both Camp Oregon and Gabby's readathon. So it's described as a gripping psychological thriller, Shakespearean in its wit, drama, and immersion in character, a constructed consideration of intense actions and consequences. It is an unflinching examination of the human impulse to ensure our own survival. I couldn't pick a better book for Camp Oregon. And the book that I'm thinking of right now, I'm not sure where it is in my house, but that is set in a small village. It is constantly bombarded by snow. It's very, very difficult to survive in. And we're following this, I think it's like a sheriff, and she is puzzled because bodies keep turning up, and it's like people are killing themselves in the snow. It's like they've just laid down to let frostbite take over them. And it kind of gives all the white spaces, which I read last year for Enby Book Club, and it was like, it changed my life. Or I'm sorry, I read it 2 years ago for Enby Book Club, and that book lives rent-free in my head all day, every day. So I'm really excited to read that for this prompt.
I wish I could remember the title.
On the screen and this one are two of the many books that were staring at me all year last year from my shelves and begging me to pick them up. So it's just really interesting. Oh my God, I'm just so excited about that. I'm so mad at myself. So I finished filming this video and then tore through my freaking home trying to figure out where this book was. This little shit right here, because I have bookshelves in there, I have bookshelves over there, and then I have bookshelves in my library. And I forgot to check the book basket that is literally right fucking there. My recycling basket, my socks that I have to match, and then my book basket. It was sitting right there on top of the book basket. So I'm gonna give a quick synopsis, then I'm gonna go make some fucking eggs, and then I'm gonna read this during the reading sprints. I'm so excited. Okay, so The Hollows is, it's in the bleak midwinter, which is where I am in Minnesota right now. In a remote village in the Peak District, a once-in-a-lifetime snowstorm is coming. A constable, Ellie Cheeto, has found a dead body. At first glance, it looks like he drank too much and froze to death, but the facts don't add up. The man's clutching a knife in one hand. There's evidence he was hiding from someone who watched him die. Stranger still, an odd charcoal mark has been drawn onto a stone beside his body. And this is only the first death. Soon the village is at the center of a whirling vortex of violence and darkness. My dreams be like. As the short day ends, a horror as old and cold as the hills is stirring. The Hollows brings all the chills of 30 Days of Night and Midnight Mass horrifyingly close to home. And it's by Angry Robot Books. I really, really like them. All right, back to your scheduled disappointing content. Next up, we have to read a book that has a W in the title. So Burnham Wood counts for that. But my official pick is going to be No One Needs to Know by Lindsay Cameron. This is a book, again, that I was sent last year. I just never got to it, but I kept thinking about it. And yesterday I came across this pop socket that has this on the cover. I was sent that as part of the promotional package for this book. And I just was like, I have to read it. There's something about this book that is calling to me. And you guys know, if you've been here for a minute, that I'm not a huge fan of just commercial thrillers. I just typically don't enjoy them, and it sucks, but I'm gonna keep trying because I love me a thriller. And my love of thriller and survival and horror stories is why I started Camp Oregon. I find them so cozy and safe, and that's why I'm going to be doing Camp Oregon all year this year. The drama of this book comes from Urban Myth, which is this virtual platform by Zip Code where you have like an anonymous discussion board. So you can already see where the drama comes in. The residents of Manhattan's exclusive Upper East Side have disclosed it all. It's given Gossip Girl, yeah? Their secret bank accounts, steamy affairs, tidbits of juicy gossip, etc., etc. The same people who as parents go to astonishing lengths to make sure that their children can get into these prestigious boarding schools. So when a hacktivist group breaks into the forum and exposes the real identity of each poster, the repercussions echo down Park Avenue with a force that no one could have anticipated, and someone ends up dead. I cannot wait. Boarding schools is always a yes for me. Want to make it absolutely clear that I am not talking about the disgusting boarding schools that Black and Indigenous and Latina children were placed in. Now let's talk about what I'm going to be reading for Camp Oregon. I have selected these 3 books. So Burnham Wood, The House in the Pines, and also Camp Prodigy. The House in the Pines is another book that has been staring at me all through last year. As you can probably see, my TBR, the theme for this TBR is books that have been staring at me all throughout last year. I'm really, really excited for The House in the Pines, and it is set at a cabin. What more could you wish for? What more could one ask for? It's a shocking debut thriller, and I love me a debut. I just really, really do. I love seeing how an author gets their start, and some of the best books that I've ever fucking read in my life we're debut authors.
Oh my god.
A shocking debut thriller about the subtlety of memory and manipulation in which a young woman must find her way back to a New England cabin armed with only hazy, haunting memories to finally uncover the truth that could save her. There is so much more to this synopsis and how it all leads back to some guy named Frank's father. Ooh, a deceased Guatemalan father. The author is stunning. Please stab me. I like to go into my thrillers knowing very, very little, so I'm going to be reading this for Camp Organ. I also have Camp Prodigy. Look how cute this graphic novel is, and it is non-binary finery. So we are following a non-binary protagonist who goes to this summer camp for musical prodigies, but they don't feel that they can ever live up to their idol, and they're having a lot of performance anxiety. Their name is Tate. Tate doesn't have the confidence to assert themselves with their friends and come out as non-binary to their family, let alone attempt a violin solo anytime soon. They run into Eli at the summer orchestra Camp Prodigy, and Eli is the remarkable violinist who inspired Tate to play in the first place. So you can imagine where this book goes. It deals with performance anxieties, gender exploration, and all of that fun stuff, everything that I want in a book. And just, I love that it's black and white. I don't know why, but I'm really, really excited. This book comes out on June 11th of 2024, so I am going to be giving an early review of this, and I'm really, really excited. Where's the other book? Anyone who wants to participate in the 2024 Camp Organ Challenge is more than welcome to. The challenge for January is to read a book that applies to Camp Organ that you've been putting off for a long time. And my Patreon book club pick for January is Jasad Air by Sarah Hashem. This was our pick for December, and we're continuing with it into January. I'm very, very excited to announce that I'm going to be hosting a book battle for our book club live show over on Patreon. It's going to be kind of Jeopardy themed, where there will be categories, and I'm going to be quizzing the patrons on various things in the book. So it's just going to be a way of testing our knowledge of what we just read, and I'm very excited. We're going to have Jasad Air exclusive reading sprints over on Patreon as well. This book was put on my radar by Ashley of A Frolic Through Fiction, and I'm so not disappointed. I'm already in the middle of it and thriving. And I'm reading it slowly because I'm annotating the shit out of it, and I'm also filming an annotating vlog for it. I'm in the middle of that, and it's so fun. So if you're one of those people who missed my Annotate With Me series, it is coming back in 2024. Yay. In the Jasad Air, we are following a woman named Sylvia. Sylvia is the long lost heir to the Jasad kingdom, which was destroyed, burnt down, and eradicated by the Nisal. The magic of Jasad was outlawed, and its royal family was slaughtered, with the sole survivor being Sylvia. She has hidden herself and her magic in a small village up until now. When the Nizal heir strides into the village, finds her after she commits a crime, a mistake, and forces her to compete in these trials as his champion. If she is able to successfully be his champion, then he will grant her her freedom. Now, this championship involves all of the kingdoms, and the person who wins gets a house in each of the kingdoms, as well as an armed guard for life. This is an epic fantasy debut, and it is Egyptian inspired, and I'm telling you, this book is worth every single ounce of the hype that it has received and more. The writing is incredible. I could not put this book down. I was reading it until 3 in the morning. It is magic. So definitely consider reading with us. It's a chunky monkey. It's 500 pages, so you have plenty of time. Our live show won't be until the end of the month, so you got time, kids. Let's wrap this video up by talking about the next 3 Enby Book Club picks. I am going to be reinvigorating my non-binary book club, which I started years ago and have been running ever since. I think I started it in 2017. If you're unfamiliar, Enby Book Club is a book club where we read books by non-binary authors. I love this book club so much, but if you have been following it, are aware of it, you will know that mid last year I dropped off from the book club and stopped hosting because I was having some very serious health issues, and I felt really guilty about that. I felt so guilty that I didn't even make an announcement sharing that I was going to be discontinuing the book club for the rest of the year because I was having a lot of shame about having to name the fact that I was having issues. So if you are a person who was following the book club, was super excited about the book club, I am sorry that I had to discontinue it and take a step back. But I am wholly committed to it this year, and I'm finally well enough where I feel that I can consistently host a book club again. So I would be so honored if you would come back and join us and read non-binary with us this year. Also, just knowing that people are reading and participating is going to help me stick with the book club. So the more of you that are excited about it, the more excited I get, and it's just gonna be better for everybody all around. That being said, let's talk about the Enby book club pick for January, and that is going to be A.K. Mulford's A River of Golden Bones. I think that this book cover is so beautiful, and A.K. Mulford is a really beloved author over on TikTok who uses both she and they pronouns, and I have been told is incredible at doing world building, world crafting, all of that. I was sold once I saw twins. If you've been here for years, you know that I love books involving twins. If you have any recommendations, leave them down below for books involving twins. Any genre, even if it's nonfiction, I don't give a fuck. I love twins. In my genetics studies at the U, I was obsessed with twin studies, and the U of M is known for their twin studies, so I think that that might be a part of the reason why I'm so obsessed with twins. Their names are Kala and Briar, and they've spent their entire lives hiding from the powerful sorceress who destroyed their kingdom, and from the humans who don't know that they are wolves. Each twin has their own purpose in life. Briar's is to marry a prince of an ally pact to save the Golden Court, and Kala's is to remain a secret, her twin shadow backup plan. I just think that that's incredible. No one knows who Kala truly is except for her childhood friend and sister's betrothed, the distractingly handsome Prince Gray. But when Kala and Briar journey out of their hiding for Briar's wedding, all of their well-known plans go awry. The evil sorceress is back with another sleeping curse for the last heir to the Golden Court. So Kala must step out of the shadows to save their sister, their kingdom, and their own legacy. Continuing to disguise herself as a human and denying who she truly is, Kala embarks on a quest across the realm, discovering a whole world she never knew existed. Outside the confines of rigid wolf society, Kala begins to wonder, who could she be if she dared to try? A River of Golden Bones follows Kala's journey through treacherous wolf kingdoms, monster-filled realms, and into the depths of their own heart in this thrilling, romantic fantasy. We love a character who uses multiple pronouns. We love a great kingdom fantasy. It sounds cozy, it sounds explorative, and I just can't wait. Then the February book club pick is going to be Stars in Your Eyes by Kaysen Callender. Kaysen's books have gotten better and better and better with every single word that they write. They are an author that I really, really look up to. We should be so lucky to be able to read their work at all. When Logan and Maddie are cast as leads in the new romantic film, Logan claims that Matt has zero talent. Same. Sending the film's publicity into a nosedive. I'm sorry. That's so fucked up. And then imagine having to work with this person and the filming is barely even started. That's so rude. To create positive buzz, the two are persuaded into a fake dating scheme, but as the two actors get to know their new characters, real feelings start to develop. So I'm excited about this for several reasons. One, the fake dating trope, it's just run rampant. It feels that every popular romance has to have that trope. And I'm just like, can we walk it back? Like, I'm getting bored of it. But I trust Kaysen. And I also just read A Holly Jolly Ever After in December for the holiday book rush, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite books of the year. I haven't filmed my best books yet, but I know that it's going to make the cut. I loved it, and the protagonists of that book were actors in a movie, and they fall in love on the set. I'm realizing that I really enjoy books and even movies that are centering showbiz, and I just made a little shelf on my Goodreads where I can keep track of books involving showbiz. So if you have recommendations, please leave them down below, and please do not let that recommendation include Evelyn Hugo, because it's a Evelyn Hugh no for me. But I'm really, really excited to see what Kaysen does with this concept. And also, everybody who has read this book that I have come across loved it. So I just Cannot wait. And then in March, we are having our first ever non-binary book for non-binary book club. Don't get up yet. So it is very, very important to me as the host of Enby Book Club to make sure that the protagonists and the authors of every book that we read for the book club is specifically non-binary. But there is a book by a trans author of color, that I really, really want to make sure doesn't get swept under the rug. I really want to do anything that I can to make sure that this book is centered, because books about brown trans girls are not. Just Happy to Be Here by Naomi Kanakia is a YA standalone perfect for fans of Tobley McSmith and Meredith Russo. Well, Meredith Russo is problematic as fuck, so we're gonna pretend that that wasn't on there. The first out trans girl at an all-girls school must choose between keeping her head down or blazing a trail. Tara just wants to be treated like any other girl at Ainsley Academy that is judged on her merits, not on her transness. I got emotional seeing the cover, and I don't know why. And I'm excited about it. I'm just very, very excited. Those are going to be the books that we're reading for Enby Book Club. The Instagram is at ENBY Book Club. We have merch as well. I would love it if you would consider joining. Every month we are going to have a live show. I just set the book club picks. It took me a while to figure out what I wanted us to read, so I have not yet picked a host for January's Enby Book Club, but if I have by the time that this video goes live, I will put them here. And then of course you'll know if you are following the book club. These are the 3 books that I'm going to be reading this month for Camp Oregon. We have The House in the Pines by Ana Reyes. We have Camp Prodigy by Carolyn Palmer. And we have Eleanor Caton by Burnham Wood. I am pretty sure that that's probably not how you say this person's name, but my Spanish accent came out, so just let me live. And then for Winterween, a book with a witch on the cover is The October Witches. But I'm also going to be reading Forged by Blood and Blood Like Fate, which involve black witchery. For a book with a W somewhere in the title, we are going to be reading No One Needs to Know by Lindsay Cameron. And The Hollows. The non-binary book club pick is A River of Bones by A.K. Mulford. Don't forget the Patreon book club pick. And that is going to be it. So I also have a bunch of carryover books that I'm going to be reading, but not prioritizing, because these books are the ones who are going to be stealing the show. Every book that I've mentioned actually is going to be mentioned in a vlog, because I'm doing a summer, a Winterween and a Camp Oregon reading vlog and a Black Girl Magic vlog. So you will get to see all of these. And I might even be doing an Enby Book Club reading vlog. I don't know. That would be really fun. This TBR is actually a little bit bigger because I have some secret books on my TBR this January. And that is because I am going to be continuing with my ex-booktuber controls my week series, except this time, for the first time ever, I'm going to be doing 2 booktubers in 1 month. I am not going to announce which booktubers I'm going to be impersonating for 2 full weeks in January, but I want you to guess. I want you to guess down below. The first booktuber I did in the series was Chloe of Chloe Bunny. The second was Gavin of How to Train Your Gavin. And the third one, oh no, actually Gavin is Gavin Reads It All now. Excuse me. And the third one was Gabby of Gabby Reads. That series is linked down below. It was an absolute blast and I'm so excited. So guess who the next 2 booktubers are gonna be? I'm going to give you a hint. I'm gonna give you a hint. These booktubers are mutuals, and these booktubers have dark hair. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, check out the links in my description. Get you some Camp Oregon merch. It's gonna be available all year. And I'm going to see you very, very soon in my next video if you come back unlike my father. Please come back unlike my father.